It takes a long time to build these deep connections that people need to be successful in real estate. So, why don't we organize a real estate investor summit cruise where people can develop relationships that are on a different level?
Hello, this is Raymond Aaron, New York Times top 10 bestselling author, bringing you Respark Your Life podcast, the world's premier podcast to ignite the fire to allow you to live life on your own terms. Every single Thursday, I bring you a multi-millionaire, world-famous celebrity to teach you about the most fascinating ways in order to live a far better life. Every single Thursday, you just need to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. I'll see you every Thursday to Respark Your Life. Yes, it's Raymond Aaron again. How do you know? Because it's Thursday. I broadcast on Thursdays. And I have lots of world famous friends, but heck, you've heard from them and you can go to a million YouTube videos and see them. I bring you stealth wisdom that you would never find anywhere else. They're known in their circle, but if you're not in their circle, you don't know their wisdom. And who do I have? Mario Lamarre. That's the French pronunciation, Lamarre. He's a dynamic host of the 5 Questions podcast. He's a speaker, a real estate investor, expert brand strategist, and professional networker, passionate about learning, pushing boundaries, and bringing people together. Mario thrives on uncovering powerful insights in real estate, business, and branding. His expertise in creating impactful personal and business brands, combined with his talent for building strong connections, makes him a sought-after leader in the industry. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So you have such a broad range. You want to talk about the power of networking, but I also taught real estate for 12 years right across the same country that you're in, and purchased and sold over 1,100 pieces of real estate around the world. So maybe we'll talk about that. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about your big sea excursion coming up.
Raymond, first of all, I got to start by saying I'm super excited to be talking with you today. It's truly an honor. You've accomplished so many things. You know, a lot of people look up to you, and I'm one of them. So I'm really happy to be with you on your podcast today.
Well, that's mutual because you were so highly recommended by a mutual friend of ours that I said, oh my gosh, I'd love to get him on my show. So you look up to me, I look up to you. In physics, that's a bit impossible, but somehow it works.
It works. Now let's share the knowledge with the rest of the people.
Okay, tell me about your sea excursion.
So, as you mentioned in my bio, I'm a professional networker, and especially in the real estate space. I go to conferences across Canada and sometimes in the US, and to make connections. This is what you need to do to grow your circles to be successful in real estate. As I did that for about 3-4 years now, I found that there's a problem. The events that we attend to as real estate investors are mostly all the same, 2-3 days, and you go there and you shake some hands, you exchange business cards, and then you have to follow up. But life gets in the way. So you take a business card from someone, and then what you do, maybe you call them a couple weeks after. But then after that, when do you follow up? Maybe a month after that or 2 months after that. So it takes a long time to build these deep connections that people need to be successful in real estate, because when somebody comes to you and wants, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 for a project, he's not going to give it to you because he met you one time at a conference. You need time to build these relationships. So having said that, I said, well, I do lots of cruises for my leisure. I actually met on a cruise my business partner who organizes group cruise. And I said, why don't we organize a real estate investor summit cruise where people can spend time and develop relationships that when they come out at the end of the week, they're on a different level. They're friends.
Wow,
So,
I love the idea.
yeah. And, there is some cruises that are organized and networking cruise, but we really tried to, I don't know if I would call it systemized, but we made it with a system. It's a structure. That's the word I'm looking for. A structure where we actually kind of force people to engage with each other with obviously their consent, but it's a lot of fun. We learn, we network together, we have fun. It's not a business environment, it's a relaxed environment. So the walls are down when people interact with each other. It's a totally different experience.
Wow. Wow. Tell me what you call it again. It's a fascinating name.
It's the Real Estate Investor Summit at Sea.
Real Estate Investor Summit at Sea. And is our mutual friend Nikki presenting for you there?
He is coming on the next one. So it's once a year, every February. The next one is February 14 to 22nd, 2026. We're almost out of speaker space. I actually have 2 more spots where I'm trying to...
I want it.
Well, I was hoping that we would talk about it today. But yes, there's a spot reserved for you. It's all professionals in the industry of real estate. I usually bring one strategy expert. So there's not 2 speakers talking about the same thing. We want a buffet for our attendees. We want them to not be bored, but always learn something new. And we bring top-notch people from whatever their expertise is. It's a lot of fun. So we have the days at sea. We have some conference times where we have our speakers. Then we have some networking events. We're bringing this year team building activities where we have to. I'll give you an example. On this ship, there's a rope course at the top of the ship, which a lot of people are afraid of heights. You're tied by a rope. It's very safe, but it's still fearful. We are organizing an event where we're all going to participate and help each other overcome our fear, build trust, build communication. And these type of activities are very engaging for people. And so we have that going on. And then, of course, when we go on the islands, this next time we're going to Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao out of Miami, which is just beautiful islands. Some of our speakers have investments in those islands. So we're going to organize little tours to visit. People who want to go to the beach, they can go to the beach. So it's a lot of fun.
Wow. And this is your 3rd year in a row.
It's our second. It took us a year and a half to put together because we had to come up with a business plan, show it to the cruise line and make sure that they accepted what we wanted to do in the structure that we wanted to do it. So
how many people do you attract?
Right now, we're looking at about 100 people this year, hopefully a little bit more, but we want to double. Our first year, we were 60, which actually 40 out of the 60 re-signed for the second year right there on the ship.
Wow.
They liked it so much. And our goal is to double the size every year for the next 5 to 7 years and to be able to charter the whole ship.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
the goal.
big plan.
That's the vision.
I've been holding annual retreats. 2 of them have been on a cruise ship, but otherwise annual retreats since 1998. All over the world. Maybe
you can come and be a speaker on ours, and you tell us what we're doing good or wrong, and you can help us improve.
I will help you if I can, but I suspect you're doing a lot of things right. Wow.
We put a lot of efforts, and this has come from my passion of speaking with people. I've always been a people gatherer. I love when people are happy, when they're getting together, even if it's for family dinners or I before my past life, I used to be in the music industry, and I organized little tours with local bands, and I just love when people get together. And in this case, well, now I'm in real estate in the next chapter of my life, and I feel like it's something that I must do. It's my calling.
Wonderful. I love when people do things for the heart reason first. The money comes afterwards if you do what you love.
Well, trust me, we didn't do it for the money the first year.
I have a sense I know what you mean. But you're starting on Valentine's Day, so I'm going to have to bring my wife with me.
Absolutely. But guess what? I'm saving you the cost of flowers. You just have to bring her on a cruise.
I will pay for everything else, but you pay for the flowers? Okay.
That's right.
That's a good deal. Wow. Okay, that's fascinating. Now, I've made an awful lot of money in real estate. I suspect you have. But how did you get into real estate?
So I started with not in real estate. I was a general contractor when I was younger. And I mean, I don't know how deep we go in these conversations, but I ended up having to restart my life about 12 years ago and moved out. I was born in Montreal. I moved out west of Canada. I now reside in Vancouver, and started flying for the airlines. And about 3-4 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm an entrepreneur in my soul. Having this job it fulfilled me for the time being, but I need something else. Mm-hmm. So I started looking at, during COVID, all these online ways to make money with, Amazon and crypto and this and that. And I just lost money. So eventually I found an ad and resparked my vision for being an entrepreneur. And I said, you know what, real estate, you can't go wrong. You have a hard asset and you invest, and actually also you provide shelter to a family. And that's when I started investing. I joined some communities. At first, maybe not the greatest communities for the learning experience, but whatever. It brought me a little bit further than where I was. And started investing in single family homes for 2 years. Figured out that this is not the way you build wealth. Really, you have to level up to multifamily to, bring the bigger numbers. Yeah. So that's what I've been working on the past year and a half, and just partnering also with people on land development deals. So that's where I am now. I've been busy with a lot of different projects in the last year. So on the acquisition side, I've slowed down as far as real estate, but it's just a temporary pause because I'm putting, the Summit at Sea. I launched the 5 Questions podcast last year. So you can't do everything right and good all at the same time. Sometimes it's okay to take a step back on certain things. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. You're a fascinating guy. Tell me the biggest success you ever had in real estate.
The biggest success was, I'm going to tell, I wouldn't call it a success, but is a learning experience, is knowing when to step away. Uh-huh. It's my first ever deal, a multifamily deal that I wanted to start there. And I lost $25,000 on that deal, but I would have lost more if I didn't step away. So, after I did my due diligence wrong at the beginning, I didn't have enough learning teachings. I didn't have a coach or mentor behind me. I only watched videos online, which was not enough. And I didn't do my due diligence right. And eventually the banks got involved, and, I was having trouble getting financing. So we had to do more due diligence, and I actually flew down there because it was not in my province. It was further, like across the country. And that's when I got some of my friends who were investing involved and asked for their opinion. And they said, Mario, if you don't pull away now, you might lose some money now, but you're going to lose 100,000 if you finish this deal. So
Wow.
the lesson here is sometimes at the beginning, we're eager. We maybe compare ourselves to others. That happens very often because we all have an ego. We all want to be the best, but we should not. We should not. We should do things for ourselves.
Mario, I'm going to tell you the flip story to that.
Yeah.
I was buying single family homes way back in the day, and I saw a much larger single family home that could be separated into different units. I had all these ideas.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I put in my offer, it was accepted. And then I panicked. It was bigger than I had ever bought before by like 50%.
Yeah.
Now those numbers are tiny, but at the time I was frightened. So I ran to my lawyer and said, how do I get out of the deal? I'm frightened. I'm frightened. And my lawyer looked at it and said, it's a great deal. Why are you frightened? You should buy it. I said, no, I'm frightened. He said, okay, he will buy it. My lawyer will buy it. And 40 years later, he still owns it. It's worth many millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And he's making thousands of dollars a month. And every time I see him, he thanks me for freaking out over that property.
Well, so that person that told me, to maybe step away from the deal was a mindset coach that now she's a business partner of mine. And it's true. Sometimes we stop ourselves. The fear that we self-impose in our head.
Yes.
Sometimes that's just what it is. Maybe, like you said, it's a bigger number than what we're used to. But
tell me why you've chosen a cruise instead of a land-based resort.
So, a couple reasons. First of all, for the price point, and everything that is included. So basically, on a cruise, you can eat 24 hours a day if you want. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Be ready to gain some weight because that usually happens. But there's just so much involved. Then there's provided from the cruise line. There's entertainment. There's shows at night. There's music in different bars. There's activities also, like there's the maybe for the kids there's the water parks, and there's a lot of activities provided with the base offering of the cruise line. It's something different. It's something different that people, we're used to going on land events, so I wanted to do something different. And then we visit. It gives us a chance to visit different either islands or countries in the same week. How much would it cost us to fly to each place and then rent a hotel? And then it's so much to organize. But doing it from a cruise ship, it's so much more simple.
The cruise ship takes care of lots of concerns for you.
Yeah.
So you can focus on delivering giant value to your clients on the cruise.
Yeah.
Very nice. Mario, what's your favorite quotation?
Oh, there's many, and I'm gonna try. There's one that sticks out to me, but I'm gonna try to say it right. This is from one of my mentors. Is how does it go? Be ready to do the effort. I don't know if all the words are correct, but it's the idea that counts. Be ready to do the efforts that others are not willing to do, to live the life that most want to live.
Let me help you.
Yeah.
Broke people only do what's easy. That's why their life is always tough. Rich people are prepared to do what's tough. That's why their life is always easy.
That's the idea. You put it in much clearer words, but my mentor, he says it in one sentence and boom, it's so nice. And now I have to relearn it by heart. But the idea is this, right? It's to be in a better place in your life. It requires efforts.
Yes.
And a lot of people are not willing to do these efforts because it's uncomfortable. So
yes, they would rather stay in their comfort zone, which they themselves state is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They call it their comfort zone, but they're not happy with their car. They're not happy with their home. They're not happy with their job. They're not happy with their clothes. They're not happy with their quality of their vacations. And yet they call it a comfort zone and they stay in it.
Yeah.
It's like their own prison. They lock the door from the outside. Very strange.
Yeah. And if you can have somebody in your life that will be able to push you just on the other side of that line, oh, our life becomes wonderful.
And
I invite everybody.
That's your job, Mario. That's what you do on your cruise. That's what I've been doing for over 4 decades on stage.
And Raymond, I'm going to tell you something. For some people, they would have said maybe, I don't have a big future, but I was an high school dropout until I was 32 years old. Then I needed to get my high school diploma, but I didn't start, with the normal life that everybody would say, as long as everybody has their journey. But if I'm able to do what I do, everybody can.
I've got another weird question for you.
All right.
That you are not able to answer. You're not prepared in any way, but you still have to answer it. And here it is.
Okay.
Would you rather be a fortune cookie or a birthday cake?
Well, I'm tempted to say birthday cake, and here's my reasoning. Now, I didn't have a lot of time to think about it, but
that's okay.
Here's my reasoning. When someone sees a birthday cake, their eyes pop open. They're excited.
They're happy.
Right? Yeah. It's colorful. They're happy. They know it's for a good reason. They know something good's happening. And usually, if you get a good cake, you cut in the cake, and then your eyes become even more happy because it's either colorful inside and it's fluffy and you got different layers.
Yep.
So for those reasons, I would say birthday cake.
Very interesting. Mario, this interview has been more fascinating than I expected. And I'm really grateful that our mutual friend recommended you so highly. And I look forward to you and me and him being on the cruise together.
I would not be more happy if I tried. So I'm really.
Let me help you. Let me help you fill up your cruise.
Yes.
Announce, please, the link that my subscribers can go to.
So if anybody wants to register to the Real Estate Investors Summit at Sea 2026, first of all, you got to do it fast because the ship is almost sold out already. We only have about 15 to 20 cabins left under our group. www.reiatsea.com. REI@sea.com.
REI, that stands for real estate investor, but it's just REI at sea. That's SEA.
Like the sea, like the ocean.
Yeah, like the ocean. REI at SEA.com. And at is the normal AT.
Yes.
Not an at sign. Okay, yes. Good. Well, so here is my suggestion to my subscribers. Go there right now and join me on the ship.
If I may add, Raymond, just to let your listeners know, the prices that they see on the website is in Canadian dollars. It is per person based on double occupancy, and it is tax included. So the number you see there, that's what you pay per person.
Canadian dollars, which
Canadian
is
dollars.
Like a 30-40% discount.
Well, that's what I was going to say. For all the US people, you're getting a deal.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, well, that's wonderful. Thank you for answering my weird questions. And I look forward to staying in connection with you for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. We'll do great things together. You already did. Maybe you can help me do more.
Let's do that. Thank you, Mario. What a pleasure.
Wow, I sure hope you enjoyed that fascinating episode. Please make sure you've subscribed, and please tell your friends if you like it that they will probably like it as well. For your information, this experience, this service, this podcast has been sponsored by the Orbit Coaching Program. All of my friends, all my world famous speaker friends, all have coaching programs. Mine has been independently rated as the #1 high-level coaching program. You cannot purchase it. You have to audition for it by me personally. If you're interested, please email me at respark@aaron.com. respark@aaron. Say that you're interested in being considered for the Orbit Coaching Program and include your cell phone number so that I personally will call you back.